Milani the cheetah was finally about to become a mother after an unexpected pregnancy. What was supposed to be a moment of joy turned into a crisis when the vets noticed something was terribly wrong with her 5 cubs. Jim Anderlin, the director of the Metro Richmond Zoo, and Dr. Alvarez, the attending veterinarian, exchanged worried glances as they observed Milani's distress in pen number 5. Milani, usually so graceful, was pacing with an unusual urgency. Her eyes, normally sharp and attentive, were filled with a deep unease, and she let out growls that echoed through the enclosure. For hours Anderlin and Dr. Alvarez watched her restless circling, realizing with growing concern that she was about to give birth much earlier than expected. Despite earlier tests showing no signs of premature labor, the situation had taken a sudden turn. With the size of her belly, they anticipated 3 or 4 cubs, but the unexpected early arrival had them on edge. They had no choice but to act quickly. The moment they had been preparing for was finally here. With a sense of urgency, the zoo staff prepared the birthing den, ensuring everything was in place to capture the precious moment. The air was thick with anticipation as they prepared to witness one of nature's most extraordinary miracles. Milani's den was spacious enough for her to move around and make herself comfortable, and everyone hoped for a happy outcome, knowing this pregnancy was crucial for the elderly cheetah. Gently, Dr. Alvarez approached the pen and guided Milani towards the den. With a trust that seemed almost intuitive, Milani followed and lay down, ready for the momentous event. The team watched through the camera with bated breath, their emotions poised between hope and concern. Milani gave it her all. After about 30 minutes of labor, the first tiny greyish cub was born, no larger than half a pound. Milani, beaming with pride, purred and tenderly licked her new baby. One by one, the cubs arrived, each time bringing cheers from those watching. By the end, Milani had 4 healthy cubs, a testament to her strength and the miracle of life. At 10 years old, Milani's successful pregnancy was nothing short of miraculous. Cheetah pregnancies typically result in 3 to 5 cubs, but for an older cheetah, the odds of both pregnancy and multiple cubs are slim. The team, their hearts full, watched as Milani's new family began to grow, a beautiful reminder of nature's wonders and the precious gift of life. From what they could see, Milani had just given birth to 4 healthy cubs, a feat that seemed almost miraculous. But Milani had one more surprise in store. With one final, intense push, she delivered her 5th and last cub. When the camera captured the tiny newcomer, Dr. Alvarez's alarmed cry pierced through the room. Concerned, the team rushed to him, only to hear him say that something was terribly wrong with this last cub. The other 4 cubs appeared normal, with dark fur and few visible spots. Though still blind and helpless, they seemed stronger and more robust compared to the 5th cub. This little one was dangerously small, with bones visible beneath its stringy fur and pale skin almost showing through. The team quickly sprang into action, preparing to rescue the frail cub, but they faced an immediate challenge dealing with Milani. Milani had already endured an exhausting delivery and a grueling 3 months of pregnancy. After such a trial, she was unlikely to welcome anyone near her newborn cubs. Cheetahs, especially just after giving birth, can be fiercely protective and aggressive, and Milani, known for her solitary nature, was no exception. The staff knew they had to be extremely cautious. Approaching her too closely might provoke a dangerous reaction. Dr. Alvarez warned the team to tread lightly, but little did they know just how formidable Milani could be. She was not just any cheetah, she was a beacon of hope for her endangered species. Rescued from a hunting ring in Namibia, Milani had become a symbol of survival and hope for the cheetah population. Her journey from danger to a sanctuary was nothing short of extraordinary. cheetahs, once widespread across Africa, now face a critical fight for survival. Their numbers have dwindled alarmingly due to habitat loss, human-wildlife conflicts, and declining prey. The Metro Richmond Zoo, along with other conservation efforts, plays a vital role in the fight to save this majestic species. Milani's journey from her rescue to this pivotal moment highlights the importance of these conservation efforts. Her successful pregnancy is more than a personal triumph. It represents a glimmer of hope for the entire species, offering a rare chance to strengthen their numbers and preserve their legacy. Breeding cheetahs in captivity was always a challenge, and the zookeepers knew it well. The success of their efforts often relied on the elusive nature of the cats themselves. There were 5 male cheetahs at the zoo, but Milani had rejected each one of them. The weight of months filled with failed attempts was heavy on the team's shoulders. They were determined to give Milani the chance to become a mother, despite the setbacks. Then, as if by some twist of fate, Bo entered the picture. Bo was an adult cheetah rescued from a poaching ring, much like Milani. When they were introduced as potential mates, they kept their distance at first. Weeks went by, and it seemed as though Milani would again turn away a suitor. But one morning, something miraculous happened. Milani and Bo were found side by side. Their connection had formed quietly, without any fanfare, and soon they were inseparable. The bond they shared became crucial in Milani's journey to motherhood. The barriers between them, built from shared hardship, had come down, and soon Milani was pregnant, a surprising and joyous revelation. The zookeepers had been hoping for this, but as Milani's 10th birthday approached, they had begun to lose hope. Her pregnancy was a delicate balance of optimism and worry. The team watched over her with the utmost care, knowing that the stakes were higher than ever. At her age, every step of the pregnancy was a battle, and though they wished for an easy birth, complications were a reality they had to face. As Milani's labor progressed, urgency grew. They needed to help the tiny 5th cub before it was too late. But Milani, exhausted and protective, stood over her newborns and showed no signs of moving. The other cheetahs, huddled at a respectful distance, gave Milani the privacy she needed, ready to step in if danger arose. To them, humans were the greatest threat, despite being the caregivers. But the staff had to act. When they approached the den, Milani was in a state of panic. She had briefly left the other cubs to attend to the 5th, groaning and nudging it as if willing it to thrive. But the tiny cub was barely responsive. Then, in an astonishing act of trust, Milani stepped out of the den, as if inviting the humans to retrieve her struggling baby. The other cheetahs watched with understanding, recognizing the gravity of the situation. With security protocols in mind, but sensing the cheetah's relative calm, Dr. Alvarez cautiously entered the den. As he picked up the fragile 5th cub, Milani watched with tired, worried eyes. When Dr. Alvarez emerged from the den, holding the tiny cub in his gloved hands, the atmosphere in the enclosure grew tense. The staff, who had been cheering just moments before, exchanged anxious glances. The stark contrast between the healthy, wriggling cubs and the still, lifeless form in the vet's hands was both heartbreaking and disheartening. Whispers of concern quickly spread among the team. One voice quietly asked if the tiny cub was even still alive. Milani, her fur still matted from the ordeal of labor, watched them with a blend of curiosity and worry. Even though she was exhausted, her maternal instincts shone brightly, urging her to care for the still form in the human's hands. Amidst the commotion, Dr. Alvarez gently placed the fragile cub on a specially prepared examination table nearby. The cub's breathing was shallow, its skin pale and translucent. With practiced care, Dr. Alvarez swiftly began taking samples and conducting tests, while his team stood by, ready to assist. Every second felt like an eternity as they waited for results. Milani paced anxiously outside the den, her eyes never leaving her vulnerable cub. When the results finally came in, they cast a heavy shadow over the room. Doctor. Alvarez's face was solemn as he delivered the heartbreaking news the tiny cub had been born with a severe birth defect, making its survival a daunting challenge. The room fell silent, the weight of the news settling heavily on everyone. But the staff, who had devoted themselves to caring for these magnificent animals, felt a deep, painful sorrow seeing one of their precious newborns afflicted by such a cruel fate. Milani's protective instincts were palpable. Her gaze, filled with both sorrow and resolve, remained fixed on her sickly cub. Despite the grim news, Dr. Alvarez and his team were determined to fight for the life of this fragile little one. They faced a daunting task to defy the odds and show their commitment to these animals and to Milani, who had already endured so much. The cub's vulnerability only strengthened their resolve, and they were prepared to give everything to help it survive. Consultations with experts from around the world began as the team sought guidance and insights. The urgency of the cub's condition pushed them to explore every possible option, drawing from a vast pool of knowledge and experience. Together, they crafted a detailed care plan, blending their expertise and creativity to give the cub the best chance possible. Meanwhile, the team had to balance their efforts between caring for the sick cub and attending to Milani's other healthy babies. Cheetahs, being solitary creatures, lacked the support of a pride to help with cub rearing. Milani couldn't delegate the crucial task of caring for her 4 healthy cubs to others. They needed her milk, warmth, and protection, making the challenge of managing both the critical care unit and her remaining babies a constant emotional struggle. The little cub's eyes were still tightly shut, not expected to open before the 10th day. Completely helpless, they had no idea of the emotional storm brewing around them because of their frail sibling. The zoo staff managed their responsibilities with the utmost care, every decision made with the well-being of the entire Cheetah family in mind. As days turned into weeks, Zuma's journey from fragility to strength unfolded slowly but steadily. What was once a tiny, weak body began to show signs of improvement. Each tiny milestone was a victory, a testament to the team's dedication and the tiny cub's will to survive. Milani's strength was unwavering throughout this challenging time. Having faced so much already, from the wild's hardships to the trials of pregnancy, she now confronted the uncertainty of Zuma's survival. Her eyes, once filled with concern, now reflected a mix of hope and fierce determination. She remained ever vigilant, guarding her other cubs while knowing one was battling for its life. The staff's commitment was unwavering, working tirelessly around the clock. Each test and treatment was administered with the utmost care, all focused on giving Zuma a fighting chance. The cub's progress was monitored closely, every movement and reaction scrutinized with a loving eye. As the weeks went by, Zuma's strength grew, and his once pale skin began to regain a healthy glow. The intensive care was paying off bit by bit. In the zoo, the atmosphere was charged with both tension and hope of fragile balance between the uncertainty of Zuma's future and the determination to secure it. Once a symbol of fragility, Zuma was now showing signs of vitality. His breathing steadied, and his movements, once tentative, grew more energetic. No longer silent and still, he was becoming more vocal and even taking a few steps. His fur, once sparse, was thickening, and he began to resemble his healthier siblings. The team's hard work was showing results, and each day's progress brought a renewed sense of excitement. The room buzzed with joy and relief, though the journey was far from over. The next crucial step was to reintroduce Zuma to Milani, hoping she would accept him despite his fragile start. Everyone held their breath as Milani approached her tiny cub. The air was thick with anticipation. Would she welcome him, or would he remain the runt of the litter? Doctor. Alvarez, having worked with Milani the longest, approached her with the same cautious care as before. He placed Zuma gently on the ground a few feet from his mother. As Milani drew closer, the tension among the onlookers was almost palpable. Her eyes, filled with a blend of curiosity and instinct, were fixed on the tiny cub. Slowly she circled him, almost as if she were assessing him. Then, in a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, Milani extended her tongue and tenderly licked Zuma's tiny form, a gentle gesture that spoke volumes of her growing bond with her precious cub. The moment was tender and filled with cautious hope. Milani's gentle nudge as she picked up Zuma by the scruff of his neck and carried him over to his siblings was nothing short of magical. Doctor. Alvarez felt a lump in his throat, tears welling in his eyes as he watched this heartwarming reunion. Zuma's siblings greeted him with open paws, their playful energy quickly reuniting them in a joyful, clumsy romp. At the Metro Richmond Zoo, the Cheetah care team witnessed a powerful story of heartache, perseverance, and eventual triumph. The journey had been fraught with challenges and high stakes, but the relentless dedication of everyone involved had brought life back to Zuma. Once on the brink of despair, the little cub now had a cherished place within his family, a living testament to the incredible impact of dedication, compassion, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her cub. Jim Anderland, overjoyed by the success of their program, eagerly shared the story with the public, praising Dr. Alvarez and his team for their exceptional work. The outpouring of love and support for the Cheetah family and their caretakers was overwhelming. In response, the zoo decided to set up a 24-hour Cheetah cam, allowing fans and animal lovers to witness the lives of these magnificent creatures and check in on them whenever they wished. It was also a way to gather support and resources to continue providing the best care possible. What an extraordinary tale of hope and resilience. How would you have felt if you were in the staff's shoes, witnessing little Zuma's arrival? Do you believe in letting nature take its course, or do you think the veterinarians made the right choice in helping the cub? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.